Hello, and welcome to From the Bars to the Bricks Prison Ministries Incorporated. I am your favorite felon, Kev. Unfortunately, done a little over 20 years in prison, in and out. Today, in this video, we're going to talk about when an officer messes up and gets knocked out. Now, guys, it's an interesting story. Kind of funny in a way. Kind of disturbing. If you got a soft stomach, please turn around. Viewer discretion is advised. This does talk about violence and violence against the police. So if you have sensitive ears then or eyes, you might want to turn away now. Please like, subscribe, hit that alert button. That way you know when we're uploading. Comment. I want to hear from you. Let me hear what your thoughts are, your comments, your suggestions, things you want to know, whatever. Encouragement, criticism. I want to hear it. Anyway, without further ado. So, I'm trying to think when on October of 2007. I got transferred to the El Dorado Correctional Facility from Ellsworth, where I was, to go work private industry job with Century Manufacturing. I get there. I had the weirdest celly of all time, and I'll do a video on that one. I forgot about that guy. I don't know how, but anyway, they put me at that time. The cell house is called East A. It's now G Cell House. They renamed all the cell houses. Sorry, I have something in my eye. But at that time, it was G Cell House. I was in Pod 4. Don't tell me why I remember this, but the cell was 420. But I was in Pod 4, cell 420, and it's day room, and I'm kind of new. I try to get settled in. Guys heard from my video prior. I'd had some scares with my property, some things in my property I shouldn't have had, and so, I just escaped that, but I'm settled into El Dorado. I don't know a lot of people. El Dorado there's a handful of people I knew, but it was just like full of people I hadn't met yet. So, and I'm kind of to myself type person anyway. I don't have time for a lot of games and drama and all the negativity and all that. So I stayed in my house a lot anyway, unless I was going out to yard or something. I didn't do the day room because they're loud and just it's insane. You can't even hear yourself think sometimes, and I guess I'm just old and grouchy. I can't do all that noise. But so unless I was going out to make a phone call or kiosk or something, I didn't really go out. So the second day I'm there, I go out to the day room. In the evening day room, it's after dinner. And there's this black guy out there. Huge black guy. Really nice guy. I called him Country. He introduced himself, shook my hand. We spoke a few moments. Really nice guy. He was running around a couple different cells and he was getting stuff. Anyway, he made this gumbo, and he had this bowl of gumbo. Technically, cooking together in the Kansas prison systems is illegal. It's considered dealing and trading, and one of the dumbest rules there is, if people want to cook together, then they want to cook together. There's, whatever. But these guys had made a gumbo together, Country and some other guys. Well, Country had this bowl. He had just gotten his bowl of gumbo, and it was some burritos and some smothered burritos. But he had just got this bowl of gumbo, and this sergeant runs up onto him, and she's like, "You can't do that. You can't. You got to throw that away. That's stealing and trying writing you up," and just goes ballistic, like in his face, like. pointing and all sorts of crazy stuff. And it just, I couldn't even, I'm like, wow. And because there was a few guards like that behind the walls at Hutch, but not many. If you were a guard like that and you were confrontational or whatever and you're behind the walls at Hutch, usually they moved your butt outside. They do not want you in behind the walls. That's how officers get killed and hurt, like in this instant. So they're battling back and forth, and finally, this bitch reaches down and hits a code. And the moment she hits that button, country reared back and just pow! I mean, knocked her out. Of course, that sparks a whole other officers in the bubble and stuff panicking, because they're already paying attention because she already hit the button. So here comes the officer from the other side. The officer in the bubble's freaking out, and he's on the radio calling for help. Well, anyway, the other officer comes in. Pow! Country takes him out. So, for some reason, and whatever reason, and El Dorado still does this to this day, and I guess it's for response time to an incident. But these black suits were coming in one by one. They didn't like gather up in a group come once. No, they're like one at a time. Well, Country's just dishing them out. This one come run up on him, and Country hit him so hard, this cop's head hit the ground before his feet did. He pissed himself. He was just in horrible shape. Several officers hurt, ended up getting him, and especially in El Dorado, he probably hit every wall on the way to the hole and probably fell a few times and stuff like that. They're dirty. But man, it was just, they were getting laid out. They're telling us to lock down, but nobody's hitting the buttons to open the doors because the cops try to, got all these cops dropping. They're freaking out. So we're standing at the doors, and of course, as inmates do, we're, yeah, and this is one inmate, and he's taking these police out by himself. Nobody else jumped in. Nobody. And normally, rules are the same on the streets as in prison. You don't hit a woman. And if you hit a woman, there's usually consequences. Unless you have an officer that's really difficult, disrespectful, and all that, like she was. It's hard to defend somebody like that. It kind of reap what you sow type thing, and also if people are the guards are allowed to continue like that, then it just creates more havoc and problems. But man, that was just like the most insane. I mean, because said he was whooping, just knocking him out. After this incident, the woman, she had married several officers. I'm not going to give her name. I think she's still an employee in El Dorado. I'm trying to go back in as a volunteer. I want to get these stories out there, but at the same time, not trying to make enemies with the people I'm trying to go back that are going to have to be there when I go back in. Although I'll be a volunteer, they got to treat me different. They really can't say much of me speaking the truth, but also KDOC don't like you speaking the truth, especially when you put names and stuff out there. But so I will leave the officer's name out. Like I said, I think she works there, and her husband now, they've been married several years, and he still works there as a sergeant there. Her name is different from what it was, but the guys that have been down, people have been down, still know who she is, so I'm not going to give her name. But anyway, she ended up getting so much crap and flack. But the black suit that got knocked out and pissed himself and all that, inmates and even some officers were like, "Hey, it's Pissy," ha 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 ha. Had nicknamed him Pissy. Dude ended up quitting. He couldn't handle the pressure and the ridicule, the embarrassment from getting knocked out and peeing on himself when you're a big bad black suit. You're supposed to be the tough guys in the prison, as far as on the officer's side, and you just got your ass handed to you by one man, several officers. So, and like I said, it took them a minute to get him under control. They sprayed him. He just looked at him like, what's that going to do? The rest of us are choking, but he's just fine. I'm like, hey, bro, go to jail. You're killing us. But, yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, times of prison, man. That's one bad guard, one smart attitude can cause a change. I mean, there's rules, and a lot of them rules like that, most of the officers just look the other way, because, I mean, they felt the same way. It's a dumb rule. Now, if I'm walking up to you, hey, you're going to give me a soup, punk, that's different, But I'm going, hey, bro, you want a gumbo? Oh, yeah, I got some chili and okay, you got some noodles and tortillas and bet, That's different. That's a whole, we're throwing a meal together. We're getting along. What's the problem? It's amicable. But anyway, and even some officers that did enforce some of those rules, there's a way to go about it. There's a sergeant, I will say his name because Smitty is no longer working there. Sergeant Smitty was awesome. This dude he's probably 6-something, big black guy, loud, very good character and stuff, though. The man is just a wonderful person. He always treated you like you wanted to be, treated, like he wanted to be treated. And he would come up and, hey, man, you ain't supposed to be doing that. At least don't let me see you. Let me turn around or something. And sometimes he would even give permission. And, because he had compassion. He knew we're people. We want to eat. We want to get, and it's just better when you're eating with other people. And some of us, I don't just eat with anybody. Even on the streets, I don't just eat with anybody. I consider that a special time. And unless I'm in a ministry function or a family function or whatever, I'm not one to just go out and eat with strangers. But in a one-on-one or a one-on-two or three, to me, that's like a family thing. That's important. If I break bread with you, there's a reason. But not everybody's like that. Some guys a new guy will come in with a canteen bag, like, hey, you want to gumbo tonight? I don't know that dude. He might not have washed his hands in a week. I don't want him touching my food and cooking. But anyway, officers can create bad situations. There's ways to enforce rules without getting just over the top crazy about it. You could be humane. Like, hey, that's not right. Let's not do that again or whatever. But you're not going to have somebody throw away a $10 bowl of food when they make $1.05 a day. That's 10 days of work, 11 days worth of work for that bowl of food. I'm not throwing it away. I mean, it ended up getting thrown away. I mean, he lost in the end, but he ended up. I don't recall if they charged him for that. I want to say they did, but I don't remember. He had a lot of time anyway, so it really was insignificant. But I know they have charged others. When the unit team got attacked, I'll do another video on that one someday. But I don't know that they press charges on that one. But I'll have to do some research and find out. I'll ask a couple COs and stuff that I know that are still there and that have been there for a while and see if they know. I'll try to find that out for you guys. But anyway, like, subscribe, hit that comment button. I want to know what you're thinking. What do you want to hear about? You want to hear more about this? You want to hear about other instances? I've got a handful of officers. Actually, there's a couple in Hutch I really need to do that were just, scary. But anyway, guys, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching today. I appreciate your time. I appreciate everything you do to help this ministry. And please support us with your prayers. Please support us monetarily through our PayPal or Cash App applications or through our merchandise on Shopify or Teespring. All those links are in my About section on my channel. Thank you very much for watching. Y'all have a good day. I'm Kev, and I'm out.